Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking in detail about propellers for the Mavic Mini. Now, the Mini being so small and light, its flight is just more susceptible to damaged propellers. So installing them correctly, inspecting them often, and replacing them as necessary is just absolutely critical to maintain safe and stable flight. So with that, let's get going. When I compare the Mini's propellers to the ones from my DJI Spark, you can feel the difference right away. They're lighter, they're thinner. I mean, they're absolutely paper thin and feel very fragile. So that means you're going to want to inspect them regularly. Every time before heading out to fly, I would recommend giving the Mini's propellers a quick inspection. It takes less than a minute, but it could save you from serious problems in flight, so it's definitely worth the time. Start by holding the nose up and then sticking your finger in between the propellers and just kind of wiggling them around to make sure that they move freely. Next, do a visual inspection. If you see any dents or chips or cracks, don't mess around, just replace them. After that, hold each individual blade between your thumb and forefinger and just kind of drag down the blade, feeling for anomalies. If you feel rough or uneven edges, it's likely that your propellers need replacing. And the last step is to make sure all the screws are tight. If you find a loose one, just replace it. All new propellers come with extra screws, so you should have some spares lying about. Now, one more thing I'll mention here is you should be on the lookout for variations in flight. If on takeoff your Mavic Mini goes to one side or the other, or forward or backward, instead of straight up, it could be indicating damaged propellers. Other symptoms like sudden drops, instability, errors during flight like max power load reached, or not enough force errors in the flight records could be an indication of damaged propellers. If you're experiencing some of these serious issues during flight, it's probably a good idea to replace all 8 propellers as a precaution. Replacing propellers is a lot cheaper than replacing your Mini. Okay, so before we get into replacing the propellers, there's a few things you should know. First, propellers should be changed in pairs and only from the same package. So basically, don't mix and match propellers from other packages. And even if only one of the 2 propellers on any particular motor is damaged, you need to replace both props at the same time. Second, there are 2 types of propellers that rotate in different directions. So you need to match the correct propeller with the correct motor. And I'll talk more about that when we get to installing them. And 3, when you remove a damaged propeller, both the propeller and the screw should be discarded. I've got some old damaged propellers installed on my Mini for this demonstration. Now these props, they were not working correctly for me right out of the box. I've installed them and removed them multiple times and they're pretty banged up, so I only use them for testing and not for flight. All Mavic Minis come with a screwdriver for installing and removing the propellers, and it is recommended that you use it. When removing a propeller, just hold the motor with your thumb and index finger so it doesn't spin, and then turn the screw counterclockwise to take it out. Now, like I said earlier, even if only one of the propellers is damaged, you should still replace both propellers on a corresponding motor at the same time. All new propellers come with these tiny little screws, and you'll notice that there's a bit of blue thread lock on them. Now, DJI recommends when you're replacing them to use an old screw and thread it in and out of the hole a few times to remove some of that excess thread lock. If you do that correctly, the new ones will go in with minimal force. When installing new propellers, make sure you install them to the correct motors. Propellers are either marked or unmarked. The marked propellers have a small line near the screw hole, and they should be installed on the motor with a corresponding mark on the Mini's arm. The unmarked propellers go on the motors without a mark on the arm. To install a new propeller, put the screw in the propeller, place it on the corresponding motor, and turn the screw clockwise to tighten. Be careful with your alignment here because these are small screws and they should not require a lot of force. If you're feeling too much resistance, pull it out, try again, and make sure you're putting the screw in straight. Once all the new propellers are installed, give it one last quick inspection to make sure the correct propellers are on the correct motors. Hold it nose up and make sure that the propellers are moving freely. If it looks good and it feels good, you'll be good to go for your next flight.
Are you helping? Are you helping? I don't think you're helping. Well, maybe you are helping.
Well, that's it for this one, guys. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, you guessed it, I'll see you in the next one.